Hey folks, Randy here with Dueling Cut and Trim. So I had an issue with my work laptop. I use a Chromebook. It's a pretty simple one. It's actually a $300 Chromebook that somebody bought, realized they didn't like it, and I ended up buying it from them for $150. So I really like it. I really like using Chromebooks. Don't miss using Windows at all. But my son also likes a Chromebook, and specifically if I'm working on it. So if I'm working on the Chromebook, you can probably hear him in the background. If I'm working on the Chromebook, and so if I'm working on my Chromebook, all right, man. I like to. So if I'm working on the laptop. So if I'm working on the laptop, he likes to come by and bang on the keys. Or even better, push it off the counter. Which usually I can keep him from doing that, except for the last time. So my Chromebook took a dive, and now the screen looks like that. And so at first I was like, you know what, I'm just going to deal with it. Whatever. But I use Service Autopilot. And when I'm sending quotes or invoices or doing anything, the save and close button is always right in there somewhere. So that's not really working for me. So I took the laptop to the folks that I go to, like if I crack the screen on my phone or something like that, to get a price for fixing it. And they quoted me $278 to replace the screen on this laptop. Well, it's a $300 laptop. I paid $150 for it. I'm not spending $278 to fix it. Like, that math just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, at this point, I think it's like 2 years old at this point. So it's probably not even worth. It's probably worth like 150. I don't think it's even worth 150 at this point. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to get a new one. And then I started thinking. And I thought back over my life, and I realized something. When I first bought this mower, there was an issue with the clutch, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know didn't know to get things checked. And it was a preventable problem, but basically, long story short, the clutch had to be replaced. And they charged me, how much? $650 to replace the blade clutch on this mower. I was new to the business. I didn't know any better, so I just was like, yeah, sounds great. Pay it, The lawn season, I actually started the lawn season, and it wasn't even ready to go. So I was desperate, and they were willing to fix it. So $650, got it fixed. Later, I found out I could have got the clutch online for $190. And never having done it before, the installation process would have taken me 2 hours at most. Assuming stuff was stuck on there and I had to like pry it off. So, lesson learned. Once I realized that, that really bothered me. It really bothered me to realize that I had given $400 to someone that if I had just done the work myself, I could have kept it. Their price was a little higher because it was OEM stuff and mine would have been aftermarket, but still, the point is, $400 that could have gone toward. When this transmission went out and I went looking around for a replacement, they were going to charge me around $1,200 to replace this transmission. $1,200, and I was like, that is insane. Turns out it's because the OEM transmission for this is $850. So they were going to charge me $850 for a brand new transmission, and they were going to charge me another couple $100 to install it. Now, the couple $100 to install, I understand. That job takes a lot longer than you'd think it would. But what really bothers me about this is, you see this transmission right here? I got this online for $169. Installed it myself. So by doing the work myself, I saved over $1,000. And I learned, and it was an easy job. It took me a little while, but, it was pretty straightforward work. So, it's another thing. $1,200. They would have charged me, if I had taken it to the shop and let them do it, $1,200. I do it myself, $169. About a month ago, my wife's van, the belt snapped on it. She pulled over to the side of the road. I went and bought a brand new belt, took it over, installed the new belt snapped right away. And it's one of those things, cars on the side of the road is stressful. It's getting close to Christmas. And I kind of panicked and called a tow truck, had them take it to my local Pep Boys. Pep Boys looks over it, lets me know it's going to be $900 to fix what's wrong with your wife's van. $900. And my heart sank, man, because, you know, my wife's van is worth more than $900. But $900 is in the, do we want to fix this or get a new one category, you know? Like, and so I'm panicking, you know, like, because my first reaction to any kind of crisis is to panic. And I got to get that out of my system so I can then start working on solutions. So I'm panicking. I'm trying to think, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I'm freaking out. And I ask the lady, well, what's wrong with it? What do we need to do? What happened? And so she tells me, well, the alternator went bad. And the idler pulley needs to be replaced. And the tensioner pulley needs to be replaced. And I was like, So I was like, okay. $900 for that. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something. So if we look inside my wife's engine bay, we will see a beautiful brand new alternator. This alternator is held in by 3 bolts. One right there, one about 3 inches below that I'm not going to be able to show you on camera, and another one right here. 3 bolts. The idler pulley is right here. It is held in with 1 bolt. The tensioner is a little further down from there. So if the idler is right here, the tensioner is right here. So just a little further down. It's got to be accessed from underneath the vehicle, but it snowed. I don't feel like getting on the ground, but it's right there. It's like right there. These 3 items. Oh, and obviously it needed a belt. So you may not have been keeping track. If it's okay, if you weren't, I was. That's a total of 5 bolts. 5 bolts. I'd never done this job before on this van. I've done stuff like this on trucks before, but it's a lot easier because it's, you know, because of the way the engine's oriented. But I'd never done this job before, ever. And including belt installation, this entire job took me, an absolute amateur, 1 hour and 45 minutes. And that's because I didn't have the correct tools. You know, a job like this, you really need those ratcheting wrenches. You really need those. Like, that would have made this job so easy. I don't have those. I just got the regular kind. So, you know, you're having to like reattach, reattach. You know, so it took me longer because of that. So the job took me 1 hour and 45 minutes. Imagine how fast it would have taken a mechanic. Like, imagine. So, and and the parts, to get all the parts, the alternator, the tensioner pulley, and the idler pulley, and a new belt, $198. $198, man. So instead of spending $900 to get it fixed, I did it myself, and I spent $200. I saved myself $700 just by doing it myself. And I now have new skills. I know how to do this. This is I've done it once. I definitely could do it again. And that brings me back to the laptop. So, I mean, honestly, you know, spoiler alert, this repair is going to go fine. This isn't the first time I've had to do this. My son likes to destroy all my electronics. But when I did it for the first time, I'd never done it before. It was a brand new experience for me. But my point is, you know, if you're self-employed, if you're working for yourself, like, you're already used to education just being a daily part of your life. Every day I have to learn how to do something new. You know, that's why I was able to build my own website. It's not like I just magically knew how to do that. I had to learn how to do it. I didn't just know how to work on lawn equipment. I had to learn how to do that. And it's because I constantly got faced with situations where I didn't know what to do, and so I just took it upon myself to learn. So, you know, with that transmission on my mower this year, I saved myself $1,000. With my wife's van, I saved myself $700. With this laptop, by not just replacing it, which is what most people would do, I'm saving myself $300, because this is a $300 laptop. So that's $2,000 I saved myself just by working on this stuff myself and learning new skills and being able to have them now, you know. And so I just, you know, learn how to work on your own stuff. It'll make you a more well-rounded business owner, and makes you more educated, and makes you more dangerous out there. But so yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so the screen is here. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic just yet, but it arrived, so now it's time to take the laptop apart. Laptop's powered down, so I'll use the toolkit I got off of Amazon. I believe this is the tool I'm going to use to kind of hook the corners, and the cover just pops off. So just kind of follow the edge. So now it's pretty simple. It's 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And somewhere, I think it's over in this area, is the pins that connect the screen to the laptop. So I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm not going to really be able to show this very well, but you get the idea. Just, you know, zip, zip, zip. Screws have been removed, and now the old screen come up, but we gotta be kind of careful because we don't want to damage the connector, which is back here. So bring it up like that. Move this, and there, the connector's out, and the screen is disconnected. So just kind of reverse the process. The hardest part is getting the pins to go in. So you want to be kind of careful doing that. Alright, the pins are in. Now we layer it down. And then before I put the bezel back on, I like to fire it up just to make sure everything's working. And it is. Perfect. And there you go. It's all fixed. And like I said, you know, this was a repair that was going to cost me $270 to fix. And I just did it for myself. It was a $50 part. You know, that screen was $50. Took me about 5 minutes to repair. Very simple.